everyone. Welcome. I just want to first say praise God. Thank you. Um, thank God for this opportunity to be able to share with you guys. Um, it's been an amazing journey, and I can't wait to continue to share everything that I've learned in this journey. Let's get into it. So, I'm going to be going over this week's price action, my thoughts, trades that were high probable setups, trades that I would have liked to take in. I'll have to go back into my journal to see which ones I did actually take, but that won't be in this video. This is just kind of an overview of how I would have read price action and things of that sort. So going into Monday, true day open, we did see that we were currently in a M15 imbalance. We saw our setup, which our setup is either, and I will go deeper into my setups later in a different video, but for the sake of this video, this one's a very high probable setup. We have a market structure shift to the upside and then a market structure shift to the downside. Also, we also have the breaker structure to the upside, market structure shift to the downside. So those are the two combinations that I really like to see in a reversal. We do have alerts for our Discord members when it comes to price action as well. So as of right now, I have nobody in my Discord, but if you want to join, drop a comment, like the video, and subscribe, and you'll be able to see me trade live and be a part of the community. You don't have to if you don't want to, but it's up to you. Alright, so let me go ahead and pause those alerts though, because they're going to be pretty distracting. Alright, so back to the price action. Those are our two combinations, either market structure shift to the upside, market structure shift to the downside, or breaker structure to the upside, market structure to the downside. That would be my confirmation one, that we may be rejecting off of a higher time frame POI. So like I said, we'll get more into entries in another video, but that gave me good confidence that this is the buy side liquidity, that was enough for price to reverse. There was enough buy side liquidity to facilitate the move down. It didn't need to come for that yet. So as we get my setup is the ICT 2022 model. I'm not 100% sure if I'm always doing the 2022 model by the book, but I just trade it is the best of my understanding of what that is. If you guys don't know what that is, feel free to go over to the main channel, ICT main channel, and go watch the 2022 model. I will be going into detail as well on how I see that model and how I trade that model in an upcoming video. So Like I said, like and subscribe, turn on your notification buttons so you can be notified when that video comes. Alright, so back to the price action. We did, so as of right now, we see that we're bearish. We just took some buy side liquidity above this high in the form of a market structure shift. We got the bearish breaker structure to the downside. So at this point, we are looking for our entry, but this is all before the new true day open, which technically the day the market reopens right here. So we would have been able to see all of this pricing play out, and this would have been our first good opportunity or price tapped in. I don't really use the middle line, doesn't really matter to me. So I won't be putting that there. Oh, we'll put it there, sure. That was the first good opportunity there. Ended up giving us a breaker structure. What would we be targeting? You know, that sell side liquidity. First, it would have been this liquidity here at this low, and then other areas would be liquidity more lower, which would have been this one, and that one. So if you happen to not think that it was enough for the market structure shift, the breaker structure, you could have also used order blocks. So you could have used your order blocks as well to try to get into the trades early. I don't really use order blocks anymore. They just, a lot of the times they don't reach, price never reach back into the order blocks, but only if you're actually in the correct area that order blocks are the most efficient. But if you happen to be later in the move, a lot of the times, like for this example, if you're waiting for price to come back into this order block here, after missing this one, it would have never had came back, and your only other option would have been tapping into multiple fair value gaps to the downside. So I just, in my personal trading, I find it more opportunities to jump into trades when I am trading off fair value gaps, not necessarily the order blocks themselves. So as you will see in the example, so we got that breaker structure downside, first entry here. As we enter into the new day, true day open, we had another breaker structure here. Price came in into the order block or fair value gap, tapped in, pushed away, and those would have been two good sells. It really depends on what type of risk management and risk to reward ratio you're comfortable with. So then we're still bearish. We see no indication of bullish price action or reversal. We are also nowhere near any major POIs at this point. Well, we may have been, but even when we see POIs bullish, we're still only looking at the market structure until it tells us otherwise. So in this case, there was really no bullish breaker structure or market structure shift to the outside as we enter into London. So we have another potential entry there, which would have been this area there. And then we had one more here, but that would have been a losing trade. Now we don't always get the best entries when it comes to taking every single fair value gap entry. You want to have the ones closest to the market structure shift, and the ones as well. So I would say your market structure shift fair value gap entry is A plus. Your break of structure fair value gap entry is B plus. So I would say, yeah, I would have to rank them properly in another video. We're just going over the weekly price action. So all throughout the night we had very good sell price action. Even if you held this one all the way through, if you did a 1 to 3, or if you actually target the sell side liquidity, either way you would have taken profit. And then we enter into New York session. We never end up meeting our price action touching the higher time frame POI, which is M15. We come down as we enter into this area here. This is technically an order block here. It doesn't look like it respects it, but it does look like it swept liquidity from under this order block here. You can also extend it, still would have swept the liquidity under there. Going down to the 1 minute. And a lot of traders, they do trade the New York. So this is what you kind of would have seen in New York. Now, I would have liked to see price tap into this higher time frame POI and give us that market structure shift fair value gap entry down here, but it seemed to have done enough with the liquidity above there under this order block and this low here. Like I said, I don't really do order blocks. But it seemed like this was enough sell side liquidity to facilitate the move up. But we weren't going to assume that price was going to move up until we saw our market structure shift to the upside. Now, this is technically our setup breaker structure to the downside, market structure shift to the upside fair value gap. So that is technically the entry. But all this consolidation would have made me believe that we were going to at least sweep it one more time. But that never ends up happening. So we get the market structure shift. And then we get our fair value gap here. Price continue up. And I'm only going to be marking the fair value gaps that price actually tapped into. I'm not really going to be focused on breakaway gaps or anything like that. I do use my fair value gaps more aggressively. I only use the fair value gaps that are on higher time frames for higher time frame POIs. So after this market structure shift to the upside, I consider myself in bullish price action, and then we get our opportunities here. here, another entry there, breaker structure, and all along we're not going to doubt any reversals until we get proof of another market structure shift back bearish. So we're just going to continue with the order flow. And just multiple entries. You guys don't really have to take this many trades. You can actually just take one trade here, drag this all the way up, and then just use your other fair value gap entries to add positions until you want to exit. Just compounding your entry. But for the sake of you guys maybe waking up and this price action's already done and this price action's already done and you're here, this is how you would be able to catch up with price action, understand where you're at, and understand where price is going to go. And these are multiple entries that you could have taken that would have gotten you that 3RR for the day. So we enter here, and this is all before New York open, so volatility hasn't even entered the market yet, and you've already won 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 trades already at a 3RR. Well, these three you wouldn't have hit TP until, you know, that 9:30 volatility gave you that money. All right, so as we continue, volatility just rips at 9:30. Like I said, there is no indication of a market structure shift to the downside all throughout the morning before New York open. No break structure to the downside, no market structure shift to the downside. So I wouldn't have had in mind that price was going to manipulate down. So we got an immediate push up, which was another entry there. And we wouldn't chase price with this candle, but we'd wait to see if price would come back into a nice fair value gap to give us a nice fair value price to trade. So that would have been a good move there, as well as another move here, between here and there, giving us a nice another move here. This would have been close to stop loss hit, but you know, sometimes they get kind of risky, but life is risky. A man once said, investing is risky, but wait till you get the bill for not investing. Yeah. Anyways, so we got a nice entry there as well until around 9:30 here, and here as well. This one would have probably hit your stop loss, but at the end of the day, once we enter back into a higher time frame POI, we probably don't want to be taking those trades inside the POI and just wait to see what price wants to do. As you can see, we do get our entry again with the breaker structure to the upside, market structure shift to the downside combination, which is our setup for a reversal. This is vice versa for buys, but this is the example for sells. So we wouldn't be taking, because we are already inside the POI, we won't be taking this entry or this entry. But if we were patient and didn't take those entries, we would have found out a little later that a market structure shift was coming, and we would have saw that and not taken any more longs. Order blocks would have been fine in entering here, maybe. Like I said, for order blocks, I don't really get as many entries as I want. But so we got the market share shift. So I'm very confident at this point here that we are now bearish, but I don't see an entry just yet. We do get, we do get fair value gaps here. 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 And this is our first entry here for a short. Our second entry here for another short, and a third entry here for another short. So you really only get 2 entries. This is going to actually take longer than I expected. So we're only going to be going over the most volatile days. I'm not gonna do too much. But if you want everyday analysis, join the Discord if you want, only if you want to. Anyways, as you can see, we never end up touching into this POI here. We end up getting a market structure shift to the upside. So at this point, this would have been the last entry. If you're really late and you attempted to take this last one, you probably would have got stopped out. So you probably would have gotten stopped out here. We get that market structure shift to the upside, and then I would say this entry would have been a little aggressive, but I would definitely potentially take that entry. There's this sweep here of that low, and then we get those impulsive moves up. So that would have been a potential entry there. You would probably target this area. At this point, you would target your New York open level, true day open, 10 o'clock open. So that would have been a nice long position there. Now you can be very specific with your entries as well. Target there, or entry there, or entry there. It just really depends on how big your stop loss is and your risk management. We would have got another entry there, very small fair value gap, but it was there. But at this point, we would have seen these 2 higher time frame imbalances be generated, and as you can see, we did start to retrace the breaker structure to the downside, market structure shift to the downside, breaker structure to the downside, and then we got our combination here again, and there was a fair value gap entry here, but this fair value gap entry happened before the market structure shift was created, so this would have been highly aggressive. It would have worked, but it was aggressive, definitely an aggressive entry. So we did get those fair value gap there. And this is why if you were trading, marking up your charts manually, a lot of these entries you would not have seen, because obviously this is on the 1 minute, So every 60 seconds, you're getting a new bar, questioning whether or not your markup is correct. And by the time that happens, the trade is left. That would have been a good entry there. This would have been an entry. Probably would have gotten stopped out. It really all depends on your risk management. Do you break even at a certain point? Do you take partials? But if you didn't do any of that, you probably would have lost this one. If you have taken any of these opportunities during the AM session, you probably wouldn't even be trading PM session anyways. So, and then we'll finish the day off like this. We won't mark much. We won't mark the chart up much. Nothing really happened on Monday during the PM session. Just a lot of consolidation. I don't see many entries at all, except towards the end of the day, but no one really trades the end of the day. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. Like and subscribe, like I said. Oh, this would have been a nice order block entry here. Smart money concepts. So ICT, smart money concepts is the way to go. For me personally, it's just how I like to trade. I like to see straight lines up or sideways. I do not like to see, just me personally, I don't like to see diagonal lines because candlesticks are up and down. You don't see no diagonal candlesticks, so it doesn't really make much sense to me. No shade on trendline traders or pattern traders. If it works for you, it works for you. But alright guys, thank you again. Like and subscribe, turn on that notification button. Comment, like and subscribe if you are interested in joining my Discord so you can continue to see the journey. I do post my charts daily, and it's up to you. Thank you guys, and I'll see you in the next one.